I thought I knew Asia. I had lived in Bangkok, Thailand for 3 years. I knew the streets of Sukhumvit so well, like they were part of me. I ate late-night noodles with tuk-tuk drivers, laughed with local shopkeepers, and found quiet moments in golden temples hidden between tall buildings. I felt at home there. I got used to the traffic, the spicy food, and the warm smiles. I thought I understood the rhythm of Asia. Then I moved to Bali, Indonesia, and lived there for 2 years. Mornings began with the smell of incense and fresh coffee. Evenings looked like a painting, with palm trees, birds, and waves on the shore. I rode a scooter through jungle roads, got soaked in heavy rain, and did yoga under old trees with stone statues watching over me. Bali was calm, spiritual, and slow. I thought I had seen the true heart of Asia. I thought I understood it all. The chaos and the calm, the kindness and the struggle. But I was wrong. Everything changed when I went to the Philippines. From the very first moment, I knew this place was different. As soon as I stepped out of the airport in Manila, I felt it. I expected traffic, noise, and heat, but nothing prepared me for the energy. Manila didn't just feel alive. It felt like it had its own heartbeat. Everything moved so fast. Cars, people, voices. The jeeps looked like moving parties. Bright colors, flashing lights, loud music. The air smelled like fried food, gasoline, and something sweet. It felt like chaos, but somehow it worked. When I tried to cross the street, I froze. Cars never stopped. I looked left, right, then left again, but there was no chance to move. Just then, an old woman grabbed my arm. She didn't speak. She didn't even look at me. She just pulled me into the traffic and walked straight through it. The cars moved around her like she belonged there. When we reached the other side, she let go and disappeared into the crowd. No words, no smile, just action. That's when I realized the Philippines moves on feeling, not rules. In Bangkok, people glance. In Bali, people bow. But in Manila, people act. They help without asking. They move without waiting. They give without expecting anything back. I checked into a small hostel in Makati, planning to stay a week, but that very night, everything changed. In the elevator, I met a group of young people. We said hello. That was it. Just a smile and a greeting. 5 minutes later, they knocked on my door. Karaoke tonight. Come with us. I didn't even know their names, but within 30 minutes I was holding a cold beer, singing a Tagalog song I didn't understand, and laughing until my stomach hurt. They passed me food, called me bro, and made me feel like part of their group. That night, I wasn't a tourist. I was a friend. The next morning, even though I was tired, I felt something new. Curiosity. I wanted to see more. So I packed my bag and took a bus heading south. I didn't have a plan. I just wanted to see where the road would take me. The bus was crowded, the air conditioner barely worked, but no one complained. A teenager smiled at me and gave me his seat. On the bus, a man next to me shared dried mangoes. A woman at the back was feeding her baby while telling a story to an old man. Everyone was kind, not just polite, but truly kind. No one was trying to show off. This was just normal. I got off in Batangas and took a ferry to Mindoro. I had heard about Puerto Galera, but I ended up in a smaller village nearby. There, I met a fisherman named Leto. He was fixing his boat on the beach when I arrived. I asked if there was a place to stay. He smiled and said, "You can stay in my nipa hut." I asked how much. He waved his hand. "No need. Just help me clean the nets." And that was it. I stayed for a week. Every morning, we went to the sea. I carried fish, cleaned boats, and prepared bait. In the evenings, we sat on the sand and grilled fish over hot coals. One night, he looked up at the stars and said, "Life is not easy, but here we still laugh. We must laugh." He told me he had lost his brother in a storm at sea, yet he still found joy in the waves. From Mindoro, I traveled to Palawan. I had seen pictures, but nothing prepared me for the beauty. The beaches, the green cliffs, the clear blue water, it all felt like a dream. But the people made it real. I didn't stay in a resort. I stayed with a tricycle driver named Arnel. He had 3 children, a small home, and a broken fan. Still, he gave me the only bed in the house. He and his wife Mila cooked simple meals, rice, grilled eggplant, and a little fish. Every night, they prayed together. Every morning, they greeted me like I had always been part of their family. One day, Mila told me her dream. She wanted to open a bakery. Why? I asked. She smiled and said, "So I can give bread to hungry people. No one should sleep with an empty stomach." She had almost nothing, yet she still wanted to give more. In El Nido, I met Alona. She worked in a small canteen. She served me food and always gave me extra rice. Later, I found out she was saving money to send her brothers and sisters to school. Every night, Alona walked 2 hours home to save money. When I offered her a tip, she said, "You are like my kuya now. Big brothers don't pay." I had only known her for 3 days, but she treated me like family. Next, I flew to Cebu. It was a bigger city, but the warmth was the same. I stayed with a guy named Patrick through couchsurfing. He lived with his grandmother in a small apartment. They had one couch, one fan, and a tiny dog named Bingo. That first night, Patrick cooked adobo. We stayed up late talking about life, heartbreak, and dreams. His grandmother didn't speak English, but she made me salabat tea and prayed for me before bed. In the mountain town of Balan, I met a teacher named Clarice. Her classroom was made of bamboo. When it rained, the floor turned to mud. The children came barefoot, some walking miles, but they always arrived smiling. Clarice told me they learn fast because they know education is their only hope. I stayed and helped for a week. I sang songs with the kids. I helped them practice English. I had never felt so useful or so loved. On my last day, one of the students gave me a drawing. It showed me holding a Philippine flag. At the bottom it said, "You are part Filipino now." I cried as I got on the bus. In Bohol, I met Lola Nadita, an 84-year-old woman. She taught me how to make kakanin, sweet rice cakes wrapped in banana leaves. She had lost her house in a storm, but was still helping others rebuild. "We are all each other's roof," she told me. "If one person falls, we all feel it." I went to Leyte, where people still remember Typhoon Yolanda. Many families had lost everything. I stayed with one of them. Their house was half destroyed. They lived with tarps for walls and cooked with firewood. But every night, they lit candles and sang songs. They didn't complain. They shared food. They smiled. When the electricity finally came back one night, they didn't cheer. They just kept singing. That was their strength. In Davao, I found a different feeling. The city was calm, clean, and organized, but the kindness was the same. One day, it started raining, and I looked lost. A security guard walked with me under his umbrella until I found my bus. At a market, a vendor taught me how to eat durian without making a mess. A little girl gave me candy from her pocket after I helped her find her lost slipper. In the Cordillera Mountains, I visited Banaue. The rice terraces stretched out like giant green stairs. I stayed with the Ifugao people. There were no TVs, no phones, just stars and stories. An old man named Mang Ramon told me, "Nature is our first teacher. If we take care of her, she takes care of us." He showed me how to plant rice, chant old songs, and sit still to listen. One night, he said, "We are not alone. Our ancestors walk with us when we remember them." Sitting by the fire, I felt the past and the present touch. In Siargao, I learned to surf. I fell many times. The locals laughed with me, not at me, and when I finally stood up, they cheered. Every evening, everyone, locals, tourists, surfers, kids, came together to eat, sing, and watch the sun go down. One night, a man named Ramil said, "We rebuilt our surf shack with wood and hope. Now it's stronger than before." He raised his drink and added, "Here's to falling and getting back up." In Zamboanga, I saw something beautiful, different cultures living together. Muslims, Christians, and indigenous groups all sharing one city. I was invited to a wedding where I didn't know anyone. I danced with grandmothers and ate with strangers. A man told me, "We are different people, but we eat the same rice." That line stayed with me. Everywhere I went, people called me kuya, sir, pare, friend, brother. Not once did anyone call me a foreigner. Not once did I feel like an outsider. It wasn't just about the food or the smiles. It was something deeper. The Filipino spirit is quiet but strong. It shows up when life is hard. It keeps going even when things fall apart. It holds others up. It laughs in storms. It shares what little it has. In Samar, I once asked a man why people here smile so much, even when life is difficult. He looked at me and said, "Because sadness doesn't feed us, joy does." Then my visa ended, and I had to leave. At the airport in Manila, I watched people rush past. My chest felt heavy. I wasn't just leaving a country. I was leaving a place that had changed me. As the plane took off, I looked down at the islands and whispered, "Salamat. Thank you. Not just for the food or the friendship, but for the love, for the lessons, for the way this country had opened my heart." I had lived in Bangkok and Bali. I thought I understood Asia, but it was in the Philippines that I found its soul. Because home is not always a house, it's a feeling. It's a smile from a stranger, a shared plate of rice, a drawing from a child, a helping hand you didn't ask for. The Philippines is not just a country I visited. It's a part of me now, and it will never leave.